Well, hey there, happy day 901 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. So I talk about business a lot, I talk about transitions a lot, I talk about what works, strategy, and all the details of those things. But today I'm actually thinking about influence and the subtle influence of the things that we do, that we say, that we surround ourselves with, that we don't even necessarily consciously realize we're doing. And what got me to thinking about that was actually this coffee mug. And it says, "Sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come." Now, my daughter, I love my daughter. She's absolutely an amazing human being, but she tends to be late for things. And I bought her this mug for Christmas thinking that it was kind of funny and kind of a joke. And as I was filling it with my coffee this morning, I realized what a subtle kind of negative jab that is at her, and reinforcing that my expectation is that she's going to be late, especially when she doesn't want to do something. Well, who among us isn't slower to act when there's something that we don't really want to do? We all are. But what a subtle message that is, that's reinforcing something that isn't necessarily in her best interest. And so I got to thinking about that today as I was thinking about this morning and getting ready, and thinking about there's things that we do that move us in the direction we want to go, and then there's things and habits that we do that move us away from what we want, or that just keep us stuck in the same situation over and over and over again. And I am, like every other human being, subject to those actions, those behaviors, those thoughts, those feelings, the things that prevent us from moving forward. We tend to be our own worst enemies, as much as we like to blame outside forces, and we like to give excuses or reasons why certain things are the way they are, or why things aren't the way we wish that they were, is always because we're not ready for them to change yet. That's really hard to admit out loud, right? I am exactly where I am right now, even though I want to be somewhere else eventually, and I'm working toward that, and I'm not there yet, but I'm only not there yet because of me. It would be nice to say I'm not there yet because of my ex-husband, or I'm not there yet because of this happening in one business, or I'm not there yet because of COVID-19. But the truth is, I'm not there yet because I am not yet ready to be at the level of performance that requires. It requires me to learn new skills, or learn new things, or behave and think in different ways. But if I'm surrounding myself and those I love and care about with messages that are against what it is that I want, guess what? Those things are holding me and you and every single one of us back. So how do we look for those things? How do we find those things? Well, we find them when we're ready. I never once thought about this cup until this morning. And as I'm drinking coffee out of it, every sip tastes delicious because I like my coffee in the morning. But it reminds me that I don't want to reinforce for my daughter that she's late all the time, right? I remember when I was younger, my family, when I was raising my kids, I pretty much was raising my two kids on my own. And yeah, I was married and I had a husband, but we worked different shifts. We worked different hours all the time. He was doing his thing a lot of the time, because there are men like that, and there's women like me that just let men do what they want, right? And that was my choice. I am divorced. I personally am responsible for selecting and marrying him, and wouldn't change a day of it, because I have my amazing children. I love my children. I wouldn't change a minute of the negative, because the positives far outweigh the negative. But I was late for everything. I mean, every holiday, every Christmas, they finally started telling me that we were going to eat at an hour early, so that the kids and I would be on time, so we could actually eat when they wanted to eat. And we weren't on time. We were always an hour late. And then we got better about that. But I hated being late. I just was overwhelmed, especially on holidays. Christmas, do Christmas with the kids, get them all bundled up, ready, dressed decently, and then over to a relative's house. And sometimes 2 and 3 Christmases, right? And so I always felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get everything done, which, because of my personal expectations for myself, were ridiculous. They were absolutely superhuman ridiculous. You know, I actually believed that I could do, be, and have everything that I wanted in an unrealistic way. We all can have, do, and be whatever we want, but it has to feel good and be right for us. I was trying to meet everyone's expectations, not just my own. And that was a little bit challenging. And it meant that I was late a lot. And I hated that my family was always picking on me for being late. And even though I changed that behavior and was always on time, I was always on time for everything with respect to work. And I was late for family things, right? And it wasn't because I didn't love and care about my family. It's just that I was overwhelmed and exhausted. And by the time I got stuff ready, sometimes I was late. Well, I changed that behavior decades ago. Yet every once in a while, my family will still act like I'm late all the time. And so I want to make sure that I'm not reinforcing that with my daughter. I don't want to ever be reinforcing or undermining people's ability to change and change behavior, because she actually hasn't been late for a really long time. Although she does live on her own time frame. But you know what? When I was a kid, I was the same way. I always kind of march to the beat of my own drum, as do my kids. Well, why would my kids not be that way if I was that way? Our children tend to repeat a lot of our same behaviors, whether we want them to or not. And it's up to us at some point to decide what's right for us and reinforce what we want to see in other people. Share the expectations you want, not tease them for behaviors in the past. So that's what I'm thinking about influence. And also during COVID-19 and habits. A lot of us, me included, have let some of our good habits slip during COVID-19 and during the pandemic and the shutdown and all of the changes. Maintained some of my good habits, but other habits I've let sneak back into my life. And the results, guess what? I'm seeing the results, right? We always see the results of our own actions or inaction. And once we start to notice and see those results, then we say, okay, are these moving me toward what I want or not toward what I want? And some of the things are moving me toward not what I want. So I remembered that I have some fun habits and some fun activities and things that I used to do that were really, really effective for me. So I'm incorporating some of those back into my daily routine. One of those is I listen to, as I'm getting ready every morning, affirmations and positive messages. Hey, there's so much negative crap going on around in the world right now. I personally needed that extra bump of listening to positive things in the morning. So sometimes I'll listen to a book, but I decided for a month I'm going to listen to, in my own voice. My son taught me how to do this. I recorded my personal affirmations, you know, the things I used to put up on my bathroom mirror as post-it notes. Yes, I am one of those people. I recorded those in my own voice, and I listen to that every morning while I'm getting ready. And do that for 30 days and see how that makes me feel. I just feel like during this pandemic, sometimes all of us need a little extra boost, a little extra reminder of what we want, where we're going, and that we're going to be okay. We're going to make it through this. Another one I just decided this morning is I used to do, right after my sudden cardiac arrest, something called a flip book. And I will grab and show you what a flip book is. I just call these flip books. I don't even know what they're called, but I used to write, and I'd write, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Good morning, good afternoon. Wake up. I guess I had a little sneeze. I'm actually, it's allergy season in my neck of the woods, and I have always told myself I don't have allergies. So during COVID, I've been taking Benadryl every day. My son got me a big bottle of Benadryl. I've been taking Benadryl every day. So for yesterday and today, I decided I'm going to stop taking Benadryl and see if I really have allergies or if it's my imagination. And so sometimes I might have allergies, even though I choose to say I don't have any allergies. Anyway, I have these flip books. They're just flip books. This one's mostly blank, but I would put positive messages, positive, questions, affirmations, things I want to think about and ponder about to meditate or something. And then, I don't know, B plan. I have no idea what B plan means. This is an old book that I started. Done for you content, model, business topics. So anything I'm thinking about, projects or positive messages, I would fill with these flip books. I actually wrote a book after my sudden cardiac arrest that is on Amazon called Flip Book. And it's not a great name, but it works for me. And that was why I wrote the book, to prove that I could do it and I could still do something after my sudden cardiac arrest. But I decided this morning, this flip book was sitting by my nightstand, and I'm like, that was a really good practice for me. It got me something to think about and meditate on. It's small enough I can carry it with me if I'm going somewhere. I can stick it in my backpack when I go for a walk. And if I just want to sit down for a couple of minutes and think about something positive on a beautiful sunny day out in the pier, I can pull out my flip book and I can say, okay, well, what am I working on? What am I thinking on? And there's a whole lot of things with respect to, I think this will be my challenge flip book, actually, now that I'm thinking about that. And I will put stuff with respect to challenges in it, because that's sort of my thing these days. And I can ponder and think more deeply about certain topics. So that's another example of a habit or a thing that I've done in the past that's been really effective and worked for me, that you outgrow things and you stop doing them when you don't feel like you need them anymore. And every once in a while you can go back into your toolbox and you can pull out one of those tools and say, that worked really well. I'm going to try that again for a little while. Just like the morning affirmations. I'm going to do it for 30 days. See if it makes me feel better and stronger and more confident and more happy and more excited about my days. Or if it's not serving me, then maybe it's time to record a new message. That one's from last year, so maybe it isn't appropriate anymore. And I can always do that and then try that for 30 days. There's always ways to tweak and test things. We are our own greatest science experiment. And if we use ourselves as an experiment, we test things on ourselves, we'll find out what's working and what isn't. And because it's different for each and every one of us. What works for me might not work for you at all. You might be like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I'm not going to do that. Well, it's not right for you right now. All right, so thinking about that. Bark is worse than your bite was Supersize Your Business idiom for today, which is a very interesting one. I can certainly relate to being accused of having a bad bark in certain situations. And other times, people that know me know that, I am a softie, just like my dad. People used to think that he was much gruffer and tougher and more of a taskmaster than he actually was. We all knew that he had an absolutely massive tender heart. Fun challenge today was about riches are for spending, which I totally appreciated. So often we think that the purpose of money is to just accumulate a whole lot of it, but it's the experiences that we have in our life that money can buy, and how we can help other people and serve other people, that is more important than the money itself. That was Supersize Your Business. It always reminds me of my Aunt Robbie, who told her dad one time, "What's money compared to fun, Daddy?" And that's been a story that's been told about her for her entire life. So 70-some years, 60 years I've been hearing that story. Sorry, I don't remember when I was a baby, but you get the point. There's stories about us that people tell over and over and over again. Mine is like Pop the Cork. Everybody's got the Pop the Cork story about me that comes out about once every few years. And with my Aunt Robbie, it was What's Money Compared to Fun? And that one comes out every few years too. Each of us seem to have a story from our childhood that people love to tell for the entirety of our lives. So working on that, working on challenges. Tomorrow doing a live Q&A for Get Up and Go Challenge. Any questions that you might have about challenge, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, or Central Time. I'm not sure if we're daylights or standard right now. It doesn't matter. Central Time. And it'll be recorded. It'll be in the Get Up and Go Challenge page. I will, of course, keep it up and save it there. I keep all my stuff up. I can go into my diatribe on scarcity and lack, and putting things up and taking them down when you really don't ever take them down, or charging people to have access to it after you've done it for free because the time's up and they didn't happen to see it. Poppycock. I think it's just silly. And maybe that's my old-fashioned way of thinking, that if you're giving value, give value. You don't take it away. I know that that's marketing, and you have to create scarcity and lack. But look at what creating scarcity and lack has done to our world and done to our country. I don't think it's pretty, right? It's my opinion, matter of opinion. So, doing that tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time, because I wanted my granddaughter, who will be here soon, so I should stop talking and go get ready for her. Have an absolutely amazing day. If I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. If you have a question, any kind of question about challenges, obstacles, failures, roadblocks, adversity, difficulties, dares, whatever you call them, whatever a challenge is to you, hit me up in the comments below, and I will make sure I answer it in the call tomorrow. Have an amazing day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. I'll let you know what's going on as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world. Take care.